Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you are going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister. The message that she sent to me translates like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So when I got married to my own husband, I struggled to give him a son. It was because he was cursed and I was also cursed. And his mother, my mother-in-law, was the one who had decided to place this curse upon our marriage. So me and my husband, when we were now working in Harare, that was when we started to go to this other Pentecostal church. That was when I was able to fall pregnant, and I was told that the baby that I was carrying, it was a baby boy. The pastor then said to me one day after he had prayed for me, he had been told by the Spirit that I was supposed to avoid my mother-in-law, no matter what. I should never return back to the village because there was something that was going to happen to me and the baby that I was carrying in my womb if I would ever return back to the village. So some of the charms, he said that they were going to be used on me so that I can have a miscarriage, or worst of all, to deliver a baby, but a baby that won't be okay, so that she can tell her son to dump me. This was going to happen if I would go back to the village. But Brother Nashi, when the devil wants you in a place where he can attack you, he will do some things so much that you won't be able to avoid going to that place. At that time, my mother, she got so sick. And me and my husband, like we were staying in Harare, we were supposed to drive back because me and my husband, we had met because we come from the same villages. So we said that it is far much better that we go and see my mother. We debated about this issue. So him being the breadwinner from his family to my family as well, my relatives, they called and they said that they expected him as their son-in-law to come so that we can see what was supposed to happen. So me and my husband, we then stayed at my mother's compound. So like from the village where my husband comes from, it is about an hour's drive. But when you are walking on foot, it is like a very long way. You have to walk for almost 4 hours because there are a lot of farms, so you cannot go through the farms because they are all fenced, so you have to follow the road, and it is such a long way, about 4 hours. But by the time that we arrived in the village, this was somewhere around 8 p.m. But my mother-in-law, we do not even know how she had known that we were coming to the village, because we found her, she was already at our compound. And when we asked her how she had managed to get here, she just said that she just thought that she wanted to visit my mother. And when she looked at me, that was when she saw that I was pregnant, and she was like, oh, okay, I can see the reason as to why my daughter-in-law did not want to inform me that she was pregnant, because she was scared that I am her witch. Now that you have seen your witch has seen that you are pregnant. So if you are going to have a miscarriage, then everyone in the village, including your mother and your relatives, they are going to blame me. She said a lot. Even my mom said that, please do not say that. You can see that I'm not feeling okay. Why are you accusing my daughter? And then my mother said that she just wanted to see me first, as you can see that I am sick. And after that, they were going to pass through your place. But my mother-in-law, she said whatever that she wanted. And after that, she left. Even my husband was like, but mom, you cannot go alone because it's already late. It's like 11 p.m. How are you going to walk on foot? But she said that she had decided that she was going back to her village. Left without a choice, my husband had to drive with his mom. And this was what the pastor had told us, that it was not supposed to happen. When my husband returned back, he started complaining and he said that he was not feeling okay. He said that the moment that he arrived at his mother's place, when he stepped out of the vehicle, that was when he felt as if there was something that had stung him. When he switched on the torch on his phone, that was when he saw that it was a scorpion. He had been stung by a scorpion. Then the mother quickly rushed to her bedroom, and she came back. She was holding a plastic bag, and inside that plastic bag, my husband said that there was a small newspaper that had some charms in there. And then she started to rub those charms on the place where my husband had been bitten by that scorpion. And after that, that was when my husband said that he felt so much better. But the moment that he drove back, we were supposed to drive back to Harare with my mother so that she can get some proper treatment. My husband said that he was not feeling okay. He was not feeling okay at all. He was like really feeling bad. So my little brother, even though my little brother did not have a license, but we had to make him to drive, because as for me, I didn't even know how to drive. So my little brother drove with us from the village until we had returned back to the city. At that time, we then drove back to the city, and this was somewhere around 4 a.m. in the morning. Me and my brother, we had to help each other to lift my husband from the car to the bedroom, because he was even unable to walk. He was saying that he felt like there were 1,000 needles that were busy stabbing him on the place where he had been stung by that scorpion. And then we fell fast asleep. And when I woke up, that was when my husband tried to wake up, but he could not. He could not even wake up. We took him to the hospital, and then they told my husband that he had cancer. When we took my husband to the hospital, when they said that my husband had cancer, I felt so much pain. I spoke with the pastor, and we started praying, and we prayed for my husband. But in my heart, I don't want to lie to you, my all hope was gone. Even though when the pastor was busy praying, I kept on telling myself that cancer, there is no prayer that can cure cancer, because I never thought that my husband was going to be able to recover. At that time, when we started praying, I was just doing it for the sake of doing it, since the pastor would come and pray for my husband, because by then my husband was then discharged from the hospital. When we started praying, then I felt like there was this other spirit, a demon, that like came out of me. Then I fell to the ground. The pastor said that they prayed for me, and they prayed for me for almost an hour. That was when I collapsed, and then I woke up. When I woke up, that was when my husband said that he was getting a little bit better. Then my husband recovered. When my husband recovered, that was when I had a dream. I saw my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law came to me and she said, "So you think that you are much more clever, so much that you come into my family and you do whatever that you want. All along, I had been making sure that when you fall pregnant, you can only give birth to girls." And when she said that, I started to pray. I prayed so hard, casting her out, chasing her out of my marriage. Then she started to scream. All of this, it was happening in my dreams. I saw myself when I started to pray, each and every word that was coming out of my mouth, it was more like fire. I kept on praying when she said that it was really hot in my bedroom. And then I said, "Oh, it is really hot, so let me lock the door." We then both rushed to the door because she wanted to escape. Lucky enough, I was the first one to reach the bedroom door. Then I locked the door. Then I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. All of this was happening in my dreams until I woke up. When I woke up, this was about 2 days after that. That was when we received a phone call from our father-in-law, and he was saying that my mother-in-law had just had a stroke. My mother-in-law, before she died, she said that she did not want to see me at her funeral. I really wanted to go there, but then I was told by my husband's relatives that this was according to our Shona culture. When someone has said that they don't want you to be at their funeral when they are still alive, when they die, then they have to respect that. So I could not go there. My husband was the one who went alone to bury his mother. When he came back, my husband told me stories that were really scary. He said that they were lowering my mother-in-law into the grave, a coffin into the grave. That was when they saw that inside the grave there was already this other black clay pot, but this clay pot, there was smoke that was coming out of that clay pot. It was inside that grave. And when the pastor that they had on that day prayed, he then started to sprinkle some water on that clay pot. It then exploded. That is how they buried my mother-in-law. And I also want to encourage my fellow Christians to keep on praying. When I got married to my husband, I did not even know that my mother-in-law never wanted me to give my husband a son. Eventually, she wanted my husband to dump me after I would have given her only girls, and he really wanted a boy. Yeah, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister right there. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Please let us try to speak with her in the comment section.